Hey YouTube, it's John here from the Mighty Geek, and I've got with me my brother today to talk about Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yep, my name's Nick, and it's good. It's a great movie. So let's get it going.
Exactly. We're going to briefly talk about the first two iterations of Spider-Man that we've seen. Alright, we're going to briefly talk about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man saga. It's kind of like The Godfather, where the first two are really good, and then the third one is just a big thing of trash.
Yep, the third one was awful. It just made the whole series into a big piece of crap.
You know what's the worst part about that too is like Venom really is like the coolest Spider-Man villain too. And
Yeah,
I'm actually excited for the Tom Hardy Venom movie.
Venom and Carnage are my top two. Doc Ock is good. You know, people love him or hate him, but
Yeah, I didn't think Tobey Maguire was a bad Spider-Man. I know we're ripping on him here pretty good, but like he wasn't bad. I thought he was a little too old to be high school Spider-Man. Kirsten Dunst I didn't really care for at all.
he was a good Peter Parker. But I thought he lacked a little bit as Spider-Man himself.
And he cried a lot. Andrew Garfield. He was only in 2 movies because Sony doesn't know what they're doing. I thought he was a little too pretty boyed out, but I didn't mind him, I guess.
I mean, Peter Parker isn't supposed to be ugly. But, that being said, like you said, he was only in 2 movies. The first one was good. It wasn't great.
I didn't care for the lizard.
Yeah, I mean, I like the lizard, but that goes straight out. It went straight out of the comics pretty much for the most part. The second one, you know, it's just bad.
You want to know something, Nick? Don't make promises you can't keep. But then he later didn't keep that promise anyway. That whole thing didn't make any sense. Anyway, it didn't matter because
No.
Electro sucked, and
Yep.
they kind of even ruined the Gwen Stacy thing a little bit. But
And
I actually didn't think the girl was bad as Gwen Stacy. I just thought,
no, Emma Stone was a good Gwen Stacy.
the Rhino. So now we're finally at Homecoming. And I'm going to be honest, after seeing this, I was like, man, this makes the Tobey Maguire one and the Andrew Garfield one look bad in comparison.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion. This is what I actually think Peter Parker should be. An awkward, goofy high school kid learning his powers on the fly.
Yeah, and I mean, this movie takes place 2 months after Civil War, pretty much. So that's 8 months into him having his powers. Obviously, he's going to be making a lot of adjustments and learning. Those powers, it's a lot of stuff to learn at once.
Also, Tom Holland doesn't look not the part as far as like Peter Parker in high school. And I just thought it was really good. Like, it had the right amount of action. The characters were all believable. The story was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. I think they did a great job with the Vulture, kind of adapting him to this movie and working in the new MCU, alongside of like Tony Stark and everybody else. So
Yeah. The movie actually opens up with a little reminiscent of Civil War. It shows Peter Parker being Peter Parker, a goofy high school kid that's socially awkward. And, I actually would have liked to have seen a little bit more iteration with the Marvel universe, but I think Cap's in Africa and some people are gone,
yeah, he's in Wakanda probably
Yeah.
at the moment. So
Yeah. But overall, I thought it was really good. Storyline was just, really solid. And, editing and fighting and everything else just overall was on par. It's
Yeah.
way better, by the way, folks. It's way better than Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Way
Yeah.
better.
Oh, a ton better, and it felt a lot more like seamless, streamlined. It didn't feel out of place at points. It just did a great job all around the board of being, what Marvel has been doing best and making it flow really well with everything else.
Absolutely. There's not a lot of continuity issues, at least. I'm sure if you watch this like 10 times, I'm sure you'll find some continuity issues, but at this point, the MCU's cranked out like 15, 16 movies, so, I mean, there's got to be some, but overall, I didn't have a problem with any of it, and I thought the fighting and all the characters were really good.
Yeah, definitely. And big plus for me with Tom Holland is that he can do his own stunts. He did gymnastics and actually knows how to do all the flips. So I'm pretty sure the scene where he does a backflip just on top of the building was him.
I thought his American voice was really good too. Better than Andrew Garfield's anyway.
Yeah.
So one of my big reservations on this movie was the Vulture. I mean, look at this guy. That looks like the lamest villain of all time.
Yeah,
it's an old guy in a spandex. I
he
thought
was
for
pretty
sure
rough.
that there was no way to pull this off.
He was pretty rough at times, but what they did for this movie, I thought was great. They took Michael Keaton, brought him in, and had, gave him technology instead of just, guy in a suit, takes a pill and turns young, all that stuff. So,
I mean, the guy was Batman a long while ago, for all you older viewers. But yeah, they somehow made the suit cool, and, I just thought the whole Michael Keaton character in it made sense. He was a guy that got screwed over by Tony Stark, and his character wasn't complicated, and it was good. Like, it made sense. And even how the suit came to be made sense.
Yeah. They connected it right up with Avengers 1 and all the tech from that, so.
Yeah. Here we got a picture of Ned. Ned's pretty great in the movie. He might even been my favorite character in the movie.
Yeah, he adds a lot of comic relief that I think helped go along with Peter Parker, who's known to have a lot of wisecracks, and so it kind of, kept it funny.
He was Peter Parker's other socially awkward high school friend, and I thought that was really cool. It made sense. So we're going to really briefly run down a few characters. Zendaya plays Michelle. She's not really in the movie too much, and to be honest, they really uglied her up in this movie, because this girl in real life is gorgeous. But yeah, she just, spoiler alert, they call her MJ at the end of the movie. I don't know if that's going to be a thing or not.
She's not Mary Jane. I think it was just more of a nod towards, Mary Jane herself.
Everyone on the internet thought this girl from the trailers was Gwen Stacy, because I mean, look at her. She looks just like Gwen Stacy, but she's not. She's just Betty Brant, some obscure Spider-Man character. But overall, her and Zendaya's character were okay. They're other high school kids, which made it more believable. You got old Aunt May, who is now replaced. By the way, that Aunt May was pretty good.
Yeah.
Who is now a much younger, more attractive Aunt May, and they make a point to make fun of that.
And it's funny, from the Tobey Maguire movies, he's the oldest, and he is the oldest Aunt May, and then you get Andrew
But he was still in high school.
And you get Andrew Garfield, who has a younger Aunt May, and then you have her, who's younger and a lot better looking than the other two, obviously.
Tony Stark makes fun of the fact that Aunt May's hot. It's pretty funny. He's in this movie just the right amount. Like, they didn't shove him in there too much, but he still had a really good couple of good moments, helping Peter Parker out, doing his thing. Little Pepper Potts is randomly in the movie in the end. I won't spoil something for you, but yeah, she's in it. Closing thoughts on the movie.
It's a great movie. Once you see it, you're going to think, well, why did I even watch the other Spider-Mans? In my opinion, might not be yours, but it's just a better movie. I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
I would too. I would give it an 8 out of 10. So, really quickly to wrap this up, what do you think Spidey's going to be doing in Phase 4? Or in Infinity War, real quick?
I think he's going to get touched on in Infinity Wars Part 1, and then by the time 2 comes around, he might have had one more movie, and he'll grab the suit, spoiler, that Tony Stark offers him at the end of the movie, which could possibly be the Iron Spider suit.
I'm actually going to do a video about Marvel after Phase 4, and I think something really big, if I'm just speculating, is going to happen at the end of Infinity War Part 2. And I'm going to do a video on that pretty soon. Overall, I thought this was really great, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.